What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today, hey, we are back with a reaction here to the great man, of course, Cricket Raz. You know the drill. Original link to the man in the description. But hey, we have got one here. The final, before the final, the 2003 World Cup, of course. India v Pakistan, Sachin versus Shoaib, and Harbhajan and Yusuf. So, look, I mean, we're going to get plenty of this one, 15 minutes. The final before the final. Hey, if you are new around here, subscribe. I also better mention that for once in my videos, I'm not wearing a hat or a beanie. So I just got out the shower, it's wet, you know, it's a fucking mess. I look like a mess. It looks like there's a bloody rag or a mop on top of my head. I know. I need to get another haircut. No one tell me. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Sleep well for the past 12 nights.
Hold on, what?
Sachin would later go on to say that I did not sleep well for the past 12 nights.
12 days?
I've been thinking about this.
That's a long time.
For a year now. Everywhere I went, people reminded me of this match. Today, we are going to tell the story of that match. A do-or-die match in a World Cup against Pakistan with nearly an unsurmountable total. A match where Harbhajan and Yusuf had nearly come to blow. A match after which Shahid Afridi would get banned for sledging.
Oh no, I thought he caught it.
Shoaib openly challenged Sachin.
Well, that's something I would never do.
The legend of Centurion. 28th February 2003, a day before the India-Pakistan match. The nervousness in the Indian dressing room was nearly palpable. Now, even by itself, an India-Pakistan match is a pressure cooker situation. But this was the first match against them after the 2000 Parliament attack, after which we had banned all
well-planned operation. I don't know if I fully understand.
Cricket against Pakistan. So this match was being viewed as a quest for vengeance. The pressure faced by this team, unimaginable. Especially since, for whatever reason, they seem to have forgotten how to play ODIs. First, a home loss to West Indies, then a 2-5 defeat to New Zealand. And then
2-5?
to a South African club team in a warm-up match for World Cup.
Damn!
And as if this wasn't humiliating enough, we could not even play out 50 overs against Netherlands while Australia bungled us out for just 1
Yeah, up the Aussies. I have to take that, I'm sorry.
And the 7th lowest among the top test playing.
I have to at least take that win.
That this loss had caused back at home was so massive.
Damn, and you look at all the names in there too. Just go back to those headlines. Last pause of the video, by the way, but like Glenn McGrath, you got the man Navjot,
had caused back
Ravi Shrastri, Ganguly's to blame, Chetan Sharma,
midway into the World Cup,
man,
asking the fans to
Glenn McGrath.
And even though we won the next match against England, it had taken a superhuman effort from Ashish Nehra to pull that off.
6 for 23.
Things weren't looking good for this Indian squad. And now they were going to face Pakistan, who not only had the highest wicket-taking bowler in this tournament, but also Shoaib, who had gone out of his way to challenge Sachin yesterday. Against India, I'm going to go after the bigger names. I'm not going to make it easier for them. If I run in well, if I have the rhythm, then I don't care who's on the other end, Ponting or Sachin. So you can understand why the faces of the entire team looked as if they were in mourning or something. Forget about the players, even the coach was nervous to the point that he would start impromptu coaching sessions whenever he met someone. Play with discipline, controlled cricket, allow the opposition to self-destruct. This had gotten to the point that the captain Ganguly actually blurted out in a meeting, one of these days, someone will have a heart attack. But facing this gloomy atmosphere, the youngsters, Yuvraj and Sehwag, they had finally had enough. They began to tease the captain. The captain also responded in kind, smilingly saying that kids don't respect their elders these days. And this, after a span of weeks, finally caused some laughter in the squad. The same mood would carry forward on the next day. On one hand, the entire team got together ahead of time for breakfast, hoping to reach the ground early. While on the other hand, you had Mohammad Kaif playing table tennis in a corner, asking the number 1 seed, Sachin, to join in.
While playing cricket, I got hit on my thumb and I broke my thumb. I could not play, my arm was in cast, my hand was in the cast, so I started playing with my left hand. And eventually, literally in 2 weeks time, I had become a decent left-hand table tennis player as well. So be careful when you challenge me.
Sachin, he was in a world of his own.
That's gold.
Specifically, he was in the same place he had been for the past 1 year. Since this match was announced, wherever he went, everybody would remind him of this match, pleading with him, begging him. We had to win.
Yeah,
no matter what.
and just to put it into perspective for someone who obviously isn't Indian or Pakistani, but like, even as an outsider, how big these, anytime these two countries play. Of course, now it's a lot more friendly. I mean, you see that man Virat Kohli and Babar Azam having a little cuddle session on the field, but, around the early 2000s and the 90s, obviously, this rivalry was scary and crazy and really intense. So I could only imagine what it would have been like back then. Oh, brother. In a World Cup as well.
Pressure of those expectations. That for the first time,
it's all on.
Who had played countless finals, faced down the fiercest of opponents, stood tall against unsurmountable odds.
God.
He just couldn't sleep.
Man.
He had spent the last 2 weeks tossing and turning in bed, imagining and reimagining, playing out the entire match in his head each and every night.
That can't be healthy.
As he finished the breakfast, while the rest of team went and sat in the bus that was already loaded with their kits, Sachin ran back to his room because, unlike everybody, he had decided to keep his bat close to him in his room through the night. Now, what exactly was he doing with it? Nobody knows. Whether he kept it beside his pillow or shadow batted through the night, nobody knows. But as he was returning, he saw Dada, Sehwag
give it a few
Dravid
kisses at night?
rushing back to their rooms. Apparently, he wasn't the only one who couldn't bear to part with his bat. As the team made its way to the ground, they had a few surprises waiting for them. The first, Pakistani team was there even before
already.
Them. Apparently, Sachin wasn't the only one who had a difficult time sleeping. But the bigger problem was the second surprise. The match referee Proctor had informed both the sides. A small friendship event was to take place right before the start of the match. Both the sides would come to the ground and exchange some gifts. Apparently, the team management had agreed to this a long time back, with the players being completely in the dark about it. And this caused sparks.
Yeah, I can already see how this would make problems. What the, like, if both of the captains disagree, just don't do it,
This is just another game, right? Why must we make a statement
it's
there?
not.
Why is the ICC behaving like UN all of a sudden? But as a journalist had already started gathering below, and the match was getting delayed.
Oh, brother.
They had no choice but to relent. And that is where we got this iconic photo from.
Oh, really?
It was opposed by many on the Indian side.
I've seen this photo.
The formalities were out of the way. Finally, the main course could begin. A main course that very quickly caused the entire Indian team to have indigestion. Saeed Anwar had decided to put a masterclass in aggressive batting. By the time the class ended, Pakistan had
hold on.
raced
I think I didn't read the what's it say down here? I didn't read. Yes, get off my screen. This video shown henceforth are representational and not the actual match. Oh, okay. So this is like, different footage. Okay. I got it.
Caused the entire Indian team to have indigestion. Saeed Anwar had decided to put a masterclass in aggressive batting.
That's no
By the time
surprise.
the class ended, Pakistan had raced to 273 runs. Now let me put the enormity of the score in perspective. By that time, while chasing in a World Cup, the best India had ever done was 222. In fact,
you're in a bit of
only
strife.
twice in the history of World Cup till this point was a score larger than this chased. And now India had to pull this off against Pakistan in a do-or-die match. As you can guess, morale was low and tempers, they were flying high. And one of the person with this high temper was Harbhajan Singh.
Yeah, of course,
Having
Baji.
been kept out of this match by the selectors, all he could do was watch helplessly from the dugout as India was pushed out of the match.
What spinner
Baji,
played
angry
in front of
beyond
him?
belief, tried to cool off by going to the lunch area common to both the teams and sitting there for Mohammad Yusuf and Wasim Akram. Now it initially started off as just fun banter, guys just sitting down, poking, ribbing, having fun with each other. But these players were from India and Pakistan. There won't be any defeats allowed, even while joking. Hence both the players kept on trying to one-up each other, trying to get the better of the other. And it was during this that Yusuf said something about Harbhajan's religion, and that he got up, screaming expletives, and Yusuf followed suit. Things then quickly escalated to the point that both the players were walking towards each other, forks in hand.
Yeah. Wait, what? Forks in hand? What does that mean? Like the actual fork? They were gonna fork each other? You guys get what I mean there? Like F-O-R-K, right? But wait, I must have heard that wrong.
During this, that Yusuf said something about Harbhajan's religion.
You don't do that.
And that sent Bhaji off. He got up, screaming expletives, and Yusuf followed suit. Things then quickly escalated to the point that both the players were walking towards each other, forks in hand.
Forks?
Thankfully,
Yo, you know it's serious when you're walking to someone with a fork, man.
Both the sides quickly intervened,
What?
pulling the players back to their dugouts.
Yeah, hell no.
So yes,
You don't do
facing
that.
a near sure defeat to Pakistan, things inside the dressing room were as bad as they could get. The only chance being the plan devised by the captain and the coach. It was pretty straightforward. Don't lose wickets in the first 10 overs, just play them out calmly, and then we will attack them after. And both the openers readily agreed to it. Even Sehwag, with his penchant for aggressive
that's not
batting,
his
understood
sort of
the severity
style.
of the situation and complied. As the openers set foot on the ground, the whole stadium was suddenly shaken by cheers because Sachin had come out to open.
Yeah,
With
nice
bars
little
and
change.
banners, with his weapon in his hand and the hopes of 1 billion people on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He took the field and played the first over exactly according to the plan. But then the next over, it was gonna have the Express taking the ball. The assassin that had promised to take his scalp and had also become the fastest bowler in the world just 2 days back.
Yeah,
He
that's right.
Now seemed
Was it
raring to go,
161
which was plain to see.
kilometers?
And right after the first ball, he decided to go and start sledging Sehwag. Abbe,
Oh,
oi,
bro.
try to hit a hook. Come on, try to hit a hook. Sehwag, who was already irritated because of having to suppress his natural game.
Yeah.
And on top of that, what happened to Bhaji? So, he quickly replied, you see there, on the opposing end, wahan tera baap khada hai. Your daddy is standing there. Go and tell him to play a hook.
What?
Even though Shoaib Akhtar has
Your
denied this
daddy?
happening, it's curious that the very next ball, fourth ball of the over, would be balled short in an attempt to invite that very same hook.
Yeah, don't play at
And
that.
So would begin.
Don't
those
play at
3
that.
shots. The 3 shots that would later come to define this match and would serve as the living proof of Sachin's greatness.
Well, that's a nice drive.
Because by that time, by
Get
that
that shit
fourth
out of
ball,
here.
according to Sachin, he was feeling so good that balls close to 150 kilometers per hour were looking like 130 kilometers.
Just gliding
rather than
off the
sticking to
bat.
plan, he decided, if it is there to hit,
Yeah, fuck
I
this,
will
I'm
hit
going for it.
And so,
Yeah.
he quickly pounced on the wayward bouncer.
Oh, yeah. It's a risky shot to play at that.
That is cricket at its best.
I'm not going to lie, like in a 50 over match in a World Cup when the ball's pitched that far outside, like that's like on the 5th or 6th stump, it's short.
Kilometers. So rather than
That's a
sticking to the
risk
plan,
to
he
even
decided,
play at
if
that.
it is there to hit, I will hit it. And so he quickly
Like, look how
pounced on the
wide that
wayward
is.
bouncer.
Like like it's almost a wide. He almost could have left it. He didn't even really step to it either. Like his feet are still in front of the stumps and he smacked it for 6.
He goes after that one, and it's 6.
That's the risk that pays off.
That is cricket at its best.
Risk it to win the
Shoaib
biscuit.
Akhtar at that moment was feeling the same thing millions of fans back home were feeling.
Yeah.
Right at that moment, something had changed.
The momentum.
As if a monster in slumber had suddenly woken up.
Yeah.
It clearly shows on the surface you may be the fastest bowler in the world, but if you don't get it right against a top player, you'll get tapped.
You get tapped, boy.
That'll be the reply.
Somber Shoaib quickly made his way back to the
Somewhere.
starting point, and this time bowling a good line and length.
Yeah, that's what you gotta
hoping
get back
test
to.
the monster. But swirling wrists would see the ball quickly dispatched
yep.
to the square
Leg
leg boundary.
side.
Superb shot.
Yeah. Right
This
off
is
the hip.
tremendous batting already.
5 balls, 14 runs, and 1 ball to go. In the battle of bat and ball, not only had the bat drawn first blood, but it had completely banished the ball. So, Shoaib Akhtar had to take back control. He had to earn some
Yorker.
respect right now.
You gotta bowl
or
a
else
Yorker.
The monster would go on a rampage. So, he bowled the last ball.
Right at the
with
toes.
Everything he had. The response, out of the crease, no backlift, no follow through, just a simple block. And the ball down the ground for 4. Till
Okay.
date.
You take that.
This is one of the most picturesque moment I've ever seen. Like a painting. Sachin, Shoaib, and the stadium.
That's what Sachin
That
does though.
the
Like,
destruction was complete. Shoaib's first over had gone for 18 runs, after which he was promptly taken off of attack. Sachin had neutralized one of the most dangerous bowlers in the world.
मुझे याद है कि शोएब अख्तर कप्तान के पास गया मेरे से बॉलिंग नहीं हो रही मैं बॉलिंग नहीं कर रहा वो शॉट के बाद शोएब अख्तर का उस मैच में कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्कुल शैटर हो गया था
Now he was on the hunt to gobble up any hapless prey who would dare to stand in his way. Wasim Akram being hit for 21 for 3, Bakar Yunus going for 11 in his first.
Good lord.
India would race to 50 in the first 5 overs.
wait.
Before each ball,
Wait. So hold on. So they got to 50 runs in the first. Wait, what was that? 3 overs?
India would race to
Oh, so they got to 50 runs in the first 5 overs. So in a 50 over match, that's going at 10 runs from the very first over. And they were told to play a simple game and not try and smack anything early. And they said, nah, we're going for it. Fuck it.
50 in the first 5
Yo,
overs.
the way to
Before each
completely
ball,
ignore
Ganguly
it
would
and
hold
make
on
it
to his
work.
amulets spraying in nervousness. And then he would just smile wryly as the ball raced to the boundary, blowing his plan in smithereens. Sachin would later say that he had no plans of actually batting that.
That's what I'm
There was no question
saying.
of targeting Shoaib.
Yo.
I was actually going to stick to the plan.
It
But
just
you had to be
worked.
prepared to change them when things change out in the middle. It was just one of those days.
Everything's
one
working.
of those days when, in spite of wickets falling on the other end, Sachin kept on scoring at a blistering pace, reaching 50 in just 37 balls,
Damn.
building a 100 runs partnership with Kev, completing 12,000 ODI runs in the process. But by this time, his body, with weeks of sleepless nights and days of constant pressure, was showing the fatigue.
Oh, brother.
Sachin suddenly
Deep
started
breaths.
suffering from cramps. It was so painful that Sachin just couldn't move anymore. And yet, Sachin just grit his
It's
teeth.
just boundaries from here on in.
On and on.
Just boundaries.
10 overs straight. Stumbling, limping, falling down, and then getting up and carrying on till his body just gave out. And he got out just 2 runs away from
Damn,
the
and that was a
29
shit
metres
shot to
away from
play
the target,
too.
with nearly half the
Damn.
overs to go. Now on paper, this seems easy, right? Especially with 6 wickets left, this should be a cakewalk. So for all intent and purposes,
You would hope so.
Sachin had won this match for his country. And whenever a player returns with such an outstanding performance, he's met with cheers and applause and ovations in the dugout. But on that day, as a limping Sachin slowly made his way back to the dressing room, he was met with complete silence. He came in, sat down on a stool away from everyone, his eyes blankly staring ahead, his shirt completely drenched in sweat, his breathing labored. The heartbreak, the disappointment of not finishing, plain to see on his face. Because in his heart, even he knew India was in trouble. The adage of India being an one-man army had been proven time and again by this team. They had lost from much better positions to even worse depths. So, the moment Sachin got out, he was filled with guilt of his failure. He simply sat there, watching his dismissal on TV again and again, while his team sat and watched him silently again and again. And finally, the coach, John Wright.
John
had
Wright
enough.
was the coach?
He got up, walked up to Sachin and simply patted his back. And this
Well
just
played.
broke the trance. People quickly came up and started removing Sachin's pads, while the captain, standing in the balcony, looked Sachin in his eyes and started clapping silently. In spite of what Sachin felt, he had done what he had to do. He had done everything that he could. And now it was the team's turn to return that favor. And thankfully, gratefully, his team obliged. Dravid and Yuvraj, in a move to conserve wickets, simply started playing test cricket.
Yeah, wow.
Where Sachin's 98 had come in 75 balls. The final 100 took 20 overs in what looked like a tag team race.
Just singles.
The first part being conquered by the hair, cutting and slashing every which way, while the second part becoming the domain of the turtle, slowly but surely.
Domination
winning
of the
race.
turtle.
For Pakistan, its next match would be washed off, knocking them out of the World Cup.
Oh,
in the group
damn.
stage itself. Vice captain Inzamam ul Haq would tender his resignation right then and there. The captain would be fired just a few days later,
Damn.
along with the coach, team manager, selection committee, and 8 players of the team. Players including Wasim Akram, Saeed Anwar, and Shoaib Akhtar. For India, as the entire team would come out to attend the post-match ceremony, the
Bro.
cheers that greeted Sachin's limping entry would have been enough to turn any man deaf.
The little master, Sachin Tendulkar.
The little master.
As
Yeah.
the celebrations on the ground ended, the celebrations in the dressing room began,
Yeah.
with players stamping on beer cans
Oh.
while taking the name of their favorite critic.
Okay, I like that.
Would be found in a corner, calling back home to his wife, who would pick up the phone and simply put it out of the window, letting Sachin hear a Diwali being celebrated in March. The captain, on the other hand, he too was in a corner. He too, along with the phone. But on the other end was the chief of Army Staff for India, who had somehow gotten hold of his number, wanting to congratulate the team.
Hey.
This then was the story of the match that till date Sachin, Sehwag, Yuvraj and Dravid call one of the most important matches of their career.
Yeah.
The match that later went on to be known as the legend of the Centurion.
Wow.
Thank you for watching this video.
Hey, a big shout out to the great man Cricket Raz. I will say that every time I react to his videos. Bloody legendary. I'm just reading. Whatever the... It's been 1 feet on... Oh, yeah, because when he got... Yeah, for sledging early in that match. But hey, what an absolute video. I mean, to me, it just... You know... You guys know that I think Sachin's the greatest to ever touch the damn cricket bat, the greatest to ever do it. So yeah, nothing like that surprises me, but I get to learn more about him with videos like this because I would have never had any idea of the circumstances, the fire that happened. And honestly, I had no idea about that with Wasim Akram and with Harbhajan and wanting to finish each other off with a pair of with a fucking fork. So hey, that is gonna cap it off. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below some other reaction requests, and I'll see everyone in the next one.